Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of The Probe. Call it the woes of digitization or digitalization, and you may not be far from right. That is the case of the PNS metering and e-card system breakdown of the Electricity Company of Ghana since Saturday, 1st October. It's been long, winding queues with people, chairs, and even stones queuing for people just to purchase electricity. Not to talk of the days of sleeping in the dark, because at some point, the mobile app, the third-party vending point, and even systems in ECG offices were simply out and down. Helpless customers hoped beyond hope that the system will be restored. But it turns out that it may be a ransomware situation. Not just that, it may also be due to internal and boardroom wranglings at the Electricity Company of Ghana. We unpack all the issues tonight on The Probe. The External Communications Affairs Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Charles Ni Ayiku, is my guest. We'll also get inputs from the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Simon Ali, plus your input as well. We're live on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, myjoyonline.com. We're on DSTV channel 421, GoTV is 144. I am Emefa Apawu, and this is The Probe. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is The Probe here on the Joy News channel. Also on Joy 99.7 FM, on DSTV's 421, GoTV 144. We're on myjoyonline.com. And today we are looking at that erratic power supply that we all witnessed in 10 regions across Ghana, and then also the various districts, amongst others. We know that there were concerns about purchasing electricity. And I don't know how you survived it, how you're able to get power eventually. We're told that the system is still being worked on around the clock so that we all get power, so that it's restored. But we'll see how everything has panned out over the week from Saturday, 1st October, up until now. What really is the situation? Let's see how we can work it out. And the External Affairs Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Mr. Charles Ni Ayiku, is my guest. He joins us via Zoom. We're grateful for your time here on The Probe. And hopefully we'll be getting the PURC also join us for some inputs, and then some other inputs from you watching as well. Feel free to send us your comments via social media platforms. We have some of your questions already, and we'll put them to Mr. Ayiku. Mr. Ayiku, you're welcome to The Probe. You'd have to unmute, Mr. Ayiku. Okay, it appears we still can hear you, Mr. Ayiku, but I'm sure we'll try and rectify that shortly, and then we can get talking.
Is that okay?
Okay, super. I can hear you now, Mr. Ayiku.
Yeah, so thanks once again for having me, and good evening.
Good evening. So first off, tell us, how did we get here in the first place? What really happened?
Well, so on Tuesday, that was last week Tuesday, in the evening, we detected some few challenges with our systems. So we issued an announcement to that effect, and hoping that by the close of that Tuesday night, all of these things will be resolved. It continued on Wednesday, and we also issued an announcement to that effect, informing our customers about the challenges we're facing with our systems. Yes, and it has continued. But by the grace of God, we've been able to resolve most of the systems. We've made a very positive progress so far. And currently, we have most of our systems working. We have just a few challenges with the Ashanti region. Some of the meters are down. They came up, they responded, but unfortunately, they went down again because we really want to make sure that the meters are stable. So we really want to just release when we are not sure about its stability. Yes. So we also extended our working hours based on the fact that we need to serve our customers who are not able to get credit. And I must say that we are very sorry, and we say apologize to our customers. We do understand what they've gone through, We as a company, we are not happy about the situation. And so we are very sorry, and we are working very hard to make sure that we would not experience this again.
Okay. Well, beyond the sorry, though, we'll get into it. Whether there's some compensation for customers for the inconvenience that you've caused all of us. But that's an issue that we'll get into subsequently. But when you say you experienced challenges with your system, started on Tuesday, you say, some people said they started experiencing it way back on Saturday before the announcement came on Tuesday and Wednesday. What really happened to your system? Was it hacked? What exactly happened? Do I have Mr. Aiku?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I'm
asking. Yes, so as I indicated earlier, as a company or just like other companies, there are challenges with systems. Systems can go down due to the fact that it could not respond. It could be internet connectivity. It could be the fact that we need to update servers and all of that. So it is not an issue of something that happened. We always have monitoring systems for our database systems and our servers. Yes. So we picked that up that Tuesday night, and we've tried to resolve, and it has picked up gradually, and we've made that significant progress.
Okay. Is it not the case of some form of sabotage? You're saying your system was not hacked?
I don't have that information. And as I said in my previous conversation with your radio, I informed them that for every system, when there are issues, you do system audit. And that is what we are doing now, trying to make sure that we audit the system to understand what happened. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we'll come to a conclusion. But for now, our efforts and concentration is to make sure that we get our systems up and running.
And the system audits that you've conducted so far, what was the preliminary findings as to what exactly could have happened? Because I'm not sure you've experienced this before, since you started or you introduced this prepaid system that we are using. Have you experienced anything like this before?
No. And so it was unexpected. It was unexpected. And I'm saying that even with our preliminary auditing that we've done, we realized that the systems were not responding. We also got some information that, especially our third-party vendors, that they were not having connection through the VPN. Yes. So we were able to detect some of them, and then we resolved it. Yes. And as I indicated, as we progress with our system audit, we'll be able to come out clearly. Yes.
Has your system become vulnerable?
Our systems are not vulnerable. Yes. Our systems are not vulnerable.
Was it a ransomware attack?
As I indicated earlier, I don't have any information about that. So as we continue with our system audit, whatever is realized. I've heard all kinds of posts on social media and all kinds. Yes, but I don't have that information, so I cannot speak to that.
So, for instance, since you've introduced social media, we'll be getting to the questions that we have from social media as well, those they've sent to us and the general concerns that we've seen. My colleague, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson, was also out and about, has been interacting with some customers that we bring into you. But since you introduced social media, I'm sure you've seen a post by the ranking member. He's the deputy ranking member on the Communications Committee, Ningo Prampram MP, Sam George. He posted something today on social media, or is it over the weekend? I don't know if you've seen that particular post that Mr. Sam George posted. And amongst others, he raises concerns about some internal cabal that did this at the IT department of your company. You're saying you're unaware of that. Amongst others, they are siphoning some 200 million cedis a month. So that's the post on our screens. And if you permit me, I'll read exactly what he says. He says the challenges with the ECG are extremely serious. The attack on their system was not external, but carried out by a cabal of criminals within the very same organization. The government must, as a matter of urgency, commence a forensic investigation of the IT department of ECG. My information points to a group that has been siphoning over 200 million cedis a month. Yes, you read that right. What we are witnessing is internal power play to cripple the new MD who was dared to open an investigation into these matters. The state security apparatus must with alacrity take this matter up and ensure the safety and protection of the MD and his team seeking to uncover the mess. The rot at ECG will make you sick if you truly love this country, and it is not about politicians here. It is Ghanaian citizens taking advantage of the citizens. We demand swift and immediate action. So that's the post by Mr. Sam George over the weekend on his Facebook page. You're saying nothing of that sort is happening?
Well, I saw that post. It was shared. As I sit here, as I am speaking to you now, I don't have any information regarding what the Honorable Member posted. I don't have any information on that.
None of your IT team or the members in your IT department are being investigated by Yoko and the National Security?
Okay, so currently, what we must also understand is that ECG is a public institution, right? And whenever there are challenges, our stakeholders are involved in the conversation. PRC is involved, National Security is involved, CSOs are involved. In fact, all our stakeholders are involved. So the fact that PRC involved doesn't mean that PRC is going to reduce or increase. I mean, I hope that's what I mean. So all of these stakeholders are involved, right? And as I sit here, as I speak to you, there's always auditing of systems when there are issues, which is usual of every IT institution. So when these issues or this auditing are done or is done, then we can discuss that further on
So you
that
talked
time.
about the various stakeholders, for instance, that you say are involved. You've mentioned PRC. I have mentioned Yoko. What really is the role of Yoko in all this?
I don't have what I can say for now is the fact that PRC, we've had conversation with PRC, we've had conversation with the National Security based on the fact that these issues faced by our customers could generate into something else. So we need to get us involved to reinforce or enforce its security nationwide. Yes. But I don't have any information regarding activities of Yoko or National Security. I've said earlier, when we are through with the editing of our systems and we have any proof that is being done by any member, internal or externally, we have policies, we have laws. Those laws and policies will apply.
Okay, so as we speak today, if I still do not have electricity, are you telling me that the entire system has been fully restored such that it will be normal supply? I go to a third-party vendor, my mobile app will be working. I go to a third-party vendor, I'll be able to get electricity, plus your district offices, I'll be able to get electricity in all the 10 regions.
So when you go to our district offices, you'll be able to purchase electricity. Mm-hmm. Currently, we have a challenge with our mobile app. So a few days ago, some customers confirmed that we're able to make purchases. Others are also having challenges, and we are working to resolve that. Some of the regions, especially the Ashanti region, that's Kumasi, they're having some challenges with some of the meters. Some are up, but others are down. The other issue has to do with the connectivity time or the processing time when you make the purchase, because some of them are down, which of course a normal connectivity issue. It slows it down. So sometimes somebody would go to a vendor or go to a cash point or go to any of our cashiers, and we'll be able to serve in less than 5 minutes. Others also experience 5, 10, 15 minutes. Yes, but we made sure that our customers were served. We extended our working hours. We had yesterday and today. We made sure that until the last customer is served, we are not going to close. The third-party vendors were also working. Those who had issues with their systems were connected to our helpline or help desk at the preface being manned by our ICT team, and they were also sorted out. So yes, generally, everything is under control. We have challenges in Kumasi and we have challenges in Tamawala.
Okay, so apart from these challenges that you talked about, you are saying that system fully restored everywhere. But really, the rest of the challenges that you have, when or what is the timeline to fully restore ECG system back to where it used to be, or even better?
Hopefully by tonight. In my conversation with the IT team this afternoon, and that's one of the reasons I was not able to come to the studio personally, because I have to move from some of our district office to make sure that I get first-hand information about what's going on there. There's a very good assurance that our systems will be fully restored by tonight. Yes. Okay. Because a lot of the systems that went down were retested and some have picked up. They are responding.
Did you bring an external team to resolve this situation, or it was still the IT department in your office that restored the system?
The IT team. That's the information I have now, the IT team. Yes.
Okay. I would ask further questions on this, but let's get into the first batch of questions that have just come in. We've received some questions from you. Let's get into it now. Francis says, I was told there was a network challenge when I went to the nearest vending point in my area. What is accounting for this? Okay, so Francis, there's been some answers to you. Kofi says, we were being told that the prepaid system of ECG has been hacked. Is this true, and how long will it take for the IT team at ECG to address the challenges? Kofi. Ellen says, will ECG extend its working hours to clear the backlog of persons who have waited in long queues to buy power? Ellen's question. Kinsley says, will ECG compensate us for the inconveniences caused as a result of its system's failure? Kinsley. John says, have we been able to put a cost to the losses made by ECG ever since this incident began? John's question. I think we can start from John's question, very key question there. How much exactly have you lost over the period? Since you say it started on Tuesday, some say it started on Saturday. How much exactly have we lost as a company? Mr. Aiko. Mr. Aiko, can you hear me? It appears some of the questions may have frozen Mr. Aiko's connection. Can you hear me, Mr. Aiko?
Yes, I can hear you. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. We couldn't hear you. So I was asking us to start with John's question, which talks about the losses. If you've been able to put any amounts to it in terms of what you have lost over the period for your inability to serve your customers. Do we know?
Currently, no information about that. And I'll keep you updated whenever.
How come, Mr. Aiko, that you do not know how much you've lost over the period?
We are concentrating and focusing more on restoring the system. We are conducting the auditing of our systems too. So kindly bear with us. At the appropriate time, this information would come out.
Yes, but on a normal day, Mr. Aiku, this is a business that you're running, and you are in charge of this. Coming into this program tonight, you know that such questions will come up because people need to know. You owe the people some explanation. So they're asking how much revenue you may have lost. Averagely, you ought to be able to tell us.
Yes, I understand that we as a company owe our customers a lot of answers. I agree. But I would also want you to bear with us that as we conduct the auditing, as we conduct investigations into everything that we are doing on our systems and all, we'll also be working on figures. So I wouldn't want to give any figures now, which will change tomorrow or change the next minute.
So I ask for an average, estimated. What does it look like?
I cannot give any estimates now.
Okay.
But I do assure you that when this information is, when we are done with this auditing and all of these, you'll be duly informed.
Okay. But it's unfair that we are unable to get such answers from
I sincerely apologize.
From you. That's fine. But will ECG extend its working hours to clear the backlog of persons is another question that has come in for those who have waited in long queues to buy power.
Yes, so we've done that over the weekend, and our third-party vendors are also working. So I would plead with our customers to please remain calm, kindly visit your district offices or the nearest third-party vendor in your area, your community, and you'll be served.
Okay. And this issue about the mobile app, are there plans by ECG to change this particular mobile app that we are currently using? Because if you go on Android, for instance, there are a lot of ECG apps that you see in there. I've been told that even on WhatsApp, people are buying credit, for instance. It appears that your system is not as safe as you tell us it is.
Well, I'm not aware of purchasing ECG credit on WhatsApp. I'm not aware of that. Our mobile app is down, and we are working very hard to make sure that it's restored, fully functional, improved, so as to provide that quality and reliable service.
But the information we are getting, at least from your company, is that this whole problem could have emanated because of plans by management to hand over the mobile app to a third party to construct, for which reason we are where we are. Could that not be the situation?
I don't have that information. I don't think such an information has ever dropped on my desk. If I get that, I'll share it with you.
Okay, so the issue about compensation, Ellen is asking, will ECG compensate us for the inconveniences caused as a result of its system failure?
Yeah, so we've had quite a lot of discussions at the management level on all of these. We are yet to come to a conclusion on that. Fortunately, the MD will be addressing the press tomorrow, and I'm sure a lot of these would be discussed in detail. Okay,
but we are yet to, put any compensation to it in terms of the discussions that you've had. You're unable to say if we get compensation or not, but you're still discussing.
It's also because, as I informed you earlier, we are working very hard to get the systems working. In fact, we are not happy with what our customers have gone through these few days. So we are working very, very hard to make sure that we get our customers well sorted out. I'm sure some of these other issues will come up when we are settled and our customers are able to vent peacefully and smoothly.
Okay. we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's get into the next part of questions at this point, and then we can get some more answers for our audience on this. At some point, we'll bring in the PRC also. So John says, have we been able, okay, so Ken's question, rather, okay, John, have we been able to put a cost to the losses made by ECG? So there was a question earlier also asked. And then Ken says, will management of ECG agree that the collapse of the prepaid system indicates weaknesses in management system? Sylvia says, what steps will be taken to investigate and possibly sanction any person within ECG itself who may have contributed to the system failure on grounds of negligence or sabotage? This one has no name. He says, which company is responsible for providing the application which hosts the ECG prepaid system, and will management consider changing them for the sake of efficiency? Okay, so that's the next part of questions that we just have, Mr. Ayiko. So maybe we'll start with the very last one. Sylvia is asking which company is responsible for providing the application which hosts the ECG prepaid. Is it an information you're able to provide?
It's being managed by our IT team.
Your prepaid
and
system?
Now that I know you are interested in
I appear to be losing you, Mr. Ayiko. Can you hear me, Mr. Ayiko? It appears Mr. Ayiko's line is frozen again. Mr. Ayiko, can you hear me? Okay, so it appears that... No? We'll try again, Mr. Ayiko. I seem to be losing you. We can't hear the responses that you're giving. But let's see if we can bring in the PRC also on this. But from what we are told, Mr. Ayiko is unable, says he's unaware, but from what we are told, at least from some reliable information that we are getting, is that the system was hacked. There was a ransomware, and they are asking for some form of monies to be paid to them, in spite of the fact that the technical team, the IT team, is on top of the issue, working on it. But there were questions also about what happens in terms of whether there was negligence or sabotage on the part of either the workers or whoever it is that is in charge of this. Mr. Ayiko, do we have him back? Do we have Mr. Ayiko back? Okay.
Yes, please, I'm here.
Super. Because we couldn't hear you, your line froze at some point. So you were telling us about which company, or you said it's your team that is responsible for the ECG prepaid system.
For the management of our systems.
And will management consider changing them for the sake of efficiency? Was the question Sylvia was asking. I mean, once it's your team, nothing will happen.
Yes, I think that when we get to that, I mean, we'll see. But for now, there's no information about management changing who is there or who is not there. Yes, there's no communication on that.
But you realize that we need to know, as people, your customers, your key customers. That's why they are asking you these questions.
I agree. I agree.
What will happen? Will any heads roll as a result of this? Because it's almost a week.
Well,
and without electricity supply, people are frustrated.
I agree with you.
People are still in queues as we speak to you, Mr. Ayiko.
I agree.
You can do is to give us answers.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And as a company, we've always come out to update our customers about what is going on. We've never kept our customers in the dark, right? We've always issued statements, announcements. We've always made sure that they have enough information about our operations.
The enough information, you're telling us you are unaware if the system hasn't come to your desk, if there was a hacking or a ransomware for that matter.
Exactly, and I have to be sincere with you.
Okay.
I have to be sincere with you. I mean, I cannot make a comment on information that I'm not privy to. I don't have any proof.
I agree.
I get, yes. So I would
Could any such thing happen on your blind side as external communications manager?
Never. Never.
Okay.
Never.
But a ransomware situation you are unaware of. It hasn't come to your desk.
If there's any information about anything, it comes to my desk. If it is not on my desk, then it means that it's still in progress. Because if you cannot give half information, you have to give full facts, full information. And I've informed you earlier when you asked about this.
So tell me, you've mentioned the challenges you've had with the system going down for these number of days. But what you have not told me is what could necessitate or what could lead to your system just shutting down. As we're here, if the TV goes off, we'll be able to tell you that maybe it's due to electricity or maybe the camera shutting down. But you have not been able to tell me how it is that your systems, Electricity Company of Ghana, everything shuts down such that nobody is able to purchase power for days.
Well, I informed you that it was unexpected. And the first line of action is to get it restored because our customers must buy credit.
So what exactly was being restored?
The systems for you to be able to buy. Because that's the first line of action.
Educate me on what system, on the kind of system it is. Educate us on it.
So talking about prepayment system.
You said PNS and the e-cash and the e-cash system.
You are not able to, so for instance, you are not able to purchase credit with the mobile app. You are not able to purchase credit at our offices because the system is slow, the system is down. My first line of action is to ensure that it is restored for my customers to be able to purchase credit. It's after this restoration and making sure that there's smooth operation within my networks, within my systems, then I would conduct the system audit to be sure what happened. But if I'm conducting audits with the system and my customers are still crying for credit, then I'm not being fair to them. So I would want to restore it, and that is what ECG, my company, has been able to do gradually. And we've kept our customers updated on the various challenges and how we are progressing. We are very sorry, and we do apologize. I mean, when we go to the district offices, I was at Swedru district, I was at Winneba, I was at Botiano, I was at a lot of the district offices throughout this weekend. And I wasn't happy with what I saw. Our customers who we cherish so much struggling to get credit. So we have to work on that. That's why I'm saying that when we are done with the auditing of the system, the information of the report will be shared.
Okay. So Ken was asking also about what steps will be taken to investigate and possibly sanction any person within ECG itself who may have contributed to the system failure on grounds of negligence or sabotage. You're ruling out sabotage. Is that the case?
Well, as I speak to you, the company is a public institution. We have our company policies. We have the laws of the land. We have stakeholders, including the Ghana Police Service, the National Security, the PRC, and all. If we have to investigate, we would investigate. When we investigate and we find out that these are the culprits, whether it is internal or external, if it's internal, we have our policies. We also have the laws of the land. If it's external, we have the laws of the land. And whoever is involved will be sanctioned appropriately.
Has that investigation started?
Yes, of course. And I've informed you already that as part of the audit of the system, it also includes investigation.
You mentioned earlier about the auditing of the system. So I'm asking, you mentioned you have external stakeholders. Have you brought them in already? Is the police, the national security, all of them in already starting the process?
Exactly. We've engaged the PRLC, we've engaged the national security, we've engaged all our stakeholders, the CSOs.
I'm talking about investigation. CSOs cannot do that, are they? Are they doing that?
No, what I mean is that we've engaged all our stakeholders, including the CSOs.
But I'm asking specific questions, Mr. Iko. I'm asking specifically. Are you ruling out sabotage? Are you suspecting sabotage? First off, you can answer that first. Then we can go into the investigation.
On a personal note, I cannot rule out anything. But as I speak to you, I'm speaking on behalf of the company. And I don't have any proof or evidence of the question you are asking.
Okay, so you are speaking on a personal note, but I'm asking you on behalf of your company. I'm asking on behalf of the electricity company of Ghana.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying,
the ECG suspecting sabotage in this?
The ECG is a company that works with rules and regulations, that has policies. ECG will not come out and say that I suspect this or I suspect that. ECG would go through the process. There are procedures. So if I tell you I suspect so, and it is not so, then I'm doing a huge disservice to our listeners. That's why I'm saying that let's remain calm and let's go through the process. Let's audit our systems. Let's continue to engage with our stakeholders and see what comes out. But once we have policies, we have rules and regulations, we have laws, we'll still go through the process.
So once you have engaged your stakeholders, including the police, EOCO, national security, are there key personalities within the ECG outfit that are being targeted as part of this audit and investigation?
Until I get the full information, it will be difficult for me to answer that.
So when you brought in or engaged these stakeholders, what did they say? What exactly are they to look out for? What are their terms of reference? For which reason you've brought them in?
Well, so if a company has a challenge which is affecting its customers and the general public, you have stakeholders that you engage for you to be sure that this is how best they can all support to realize the best for the company.
Then it looks like it was a situation out of the hands of the ECG. It was a situation that it appears the ECG was unable to handle.
Well, I don't have information about that. The fact that I'm engaging PRC doesn't mean that I cannot handle my situation.
Because I'm just curious that it's a systems failure.
Yes,
if I may finish.
I appreciate your
curiosity. If I may finish, Mr. Ayiku, you mentioned that it's just a systems failure. Your systems were down. You don't suspect sabotage. It wasn't hacked. Nothing of that sort has happened. It's just a normal system that stopped working for days since Saturday up until now. If I may finish. And then you've had to engage.
Just come in very quick.
Okay. Please do.
Yes, I said that this information or these questions you are asking are questions that I cannot give answers to because I don't have evidence, I don't have proof.
Because it's beyond you, or you don't have proof?
I don't have proof. I don't have information. I don't have anything on my desk because I need to speak to facts.
I agree. So I was asking you issues about facts that you said your system was down, but you've had to engage. Mr. Ayiku, I allowed you, so you have to allow me as well. You've had to engage your stakeholders, including the Ghana Police Service, EOCO, PURC, which we are told will be issuing a statement also tomorrow on this. So I was asking if it was a situation out of the hands of the Electricity Company of Ghana such that you have to bring in all these stakeholders to help resolve the situation.
Yes, so I said that ECG had a challenge, and ECG, in collaboration with its stakeholders, discussed how best this can be solved. And that is exactly what ECG did.
And ECG, and you
I'm
maintain.
sure you read as the statement from PLC indicating that they are in conversation or discussion with ECG to resolve the issue. Yes, because they are one of our collaborators. They are one of our stakeholders.
Okay, so let's take these stakeholders that you so much talk about. For PLC, for instance, we know that they were supposed to be looking out for customers. What role exactly did PLC play to help you restore your system? First off, let's start with PLC.
There are several conversations that we've had about making sure that the speed by which these things are done, making sure that we work so hard. I mean, it's all part of making sure that we are where we are today in terms of making that significant progress.
So that's the role PLC played in terms of talking to
you.
No, I'm asking specifics. We'll get into the specifics in terms of what all the key stakeholders did to help us get to where we are today. So PLC.
Well, I cannot share certain information with you. That's why I'm requesting that when the report or when the reports after the auditing is ready, I'll share that with you. And that is where we can have the full facts, the proof and evidence of whatever that has gone on. So I think that it's early days yet in terms of getting information about it.
I agree that we'll wait for a report. When exactly will that report come? We don't know yet. But I'm only asking that so as we speak, Mr. Ayiku, trying to resolve the situation, you keep mentioning your stakeholders that you had to bring in to help resolve the situation. So I was asking specifically that PLC, for instance, what role did they play in restoring the system beyond, you're telling me that they only came talking to you about it. What exactly did they do? Because it's a technical issue, wasn't it? Yes. So what exactly was the role of the PLC, for instance? Have they spoken to you about compensating your customers?
ECG works with stakeholders. Whenever there are challenges, we have this conversation with our stakeholders to make sure that challenges are resolved. And that's exactly that we do with our stakeholders.
Has the PLC asked you to compensate your customers?
When the reports of our engagements are ready, we'll share with you.
A report of your engagement with the PLC?
Yes, a report of conversations on that. And I also want to inform you that the managing director of ECG will be addressing the press tomorrow.
Okay, so all that information will come. But you've told me about the role of the PLC. So let's talk about the role of
I did not give a specific role. I said that ECG had conversations with 8 stakeholders, including the PLC.
Okay. So the CSOs, for instance, what role did they play in restoring the system to where it is now?
I would give you the specifics when all of these things are in place, please.
Okay. Well, my colleague, Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson, for instance, was out and about. Let's hear some customers, her interaction with some customers, Mr. Ayiku. Then we'll come back to you on this.
All right, thank you.
Especially who haven't had the opportunity to work because they didn't have light. But the situation has been resolved, as the ECG has said, and people are here in their numbers to get power. I'm here with one customer who has just bought power. Mommy.
Personally, electricity, no, but 3 days to 4 days. The connection, all the over. Baby, I be via say light in your home, but me want to me call say avino. Nti me buy no na cut it off kakra, but it's na see be some 30 minutes and a samba back, but it's here the echo pa.
It's not only light, no light. I know now the if you nyaman kwana also usandi ejuma.
Me the if you nyama me the be ejumanso. They say me wo Ghana School of Law. I me me share canteen and ho nyama na the but be nyina na yenya light but sisi ade yenya light yi dey to me me fie nyama bebre say but e be fa na sa.
To me, it's moving fast, but I don't know of tomorrow. I'm in the church when my daughter tell me that, Daddy, it seems the app is on. It get message that at the Avedon, they are working on with the what you call smartphone, smart meter. That's why I have to rush, but dropping to come here fast because I have a lot in my fridges. I'm a chef. I have a lot of things there since 3 days today. In fact, it's not all that fine.
With me, currently my wife is a nursing mother, a fresh baby about 5 months old, and then there is not much heat, but situations of mosquitoes, and then also other stuff. It's really affected us in a way. And when you're at home, the house is boring. You don't have entertainment, like watching some programs on TV, listening to news and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Bubuashi. Yesterday, I sent my boy here the whole day. He came home in the night, so they took his number, and this afternoon they called that the system is working, so we should come. I tried a vendor around my place, but it didn't work, so I had to come here myself.
When did you try the vendor? This morning?
Just this afternoon. We had a call about an hour ago.
Okay, so that's Mamesi's interaction with some customers. Thankfully, as at this afternoon, some of them say they will be able to purchase electricity. We've seen the queues this morning when the announcement came that they could go to the district offices to be able to purchase electricity. The External Communications Affairs Manager for the Electricity Company of Ghana, Mr. Charles Ni Ayiku, is my guest here on The Probe tonight. We are live on Joy News, also on Joy 99.7 FM, myjoyonline.com. And I see many of your messages and suggestions and comments on social media. But let's bring in Mr. Kofi Kapito. He's with the Consumer Protection Agency, supposed to be protecting our interests as consumers as well. Mr. Kapito, we are grateful for your time here on The Probe tonight. So you have been monitoring this situation and engaging the ECG as well, I'm sure, together with the PRC. What really is in this for us, and what have you been able to come up with in terms of what exactly is happening? Okay, it appears that the connection to Mr. Kofi Kapito is also very difficult there. But we'll try again and see if we can get Mr. Kapito. But the PRC, like I said, I've also mentioned that they would also be issuing a statement tomorrow on what customers can get out of all this following the situation that we've seen. But there have been concerns also about this automation, digitization of power distribution service, and amongst others, issues about cybersecurity. But Mr. Ayiku earlier mentioned that he's unaware of any ransomware attack on their system. But Mr. Ayiku, this challenge that we've seen over this period, you've mentioned that you've never experienced it before. It raises concerns about cybersecurity, and we want to find out if ECG, your systems, for instance, are so secure such that there will be no cyber attack of any sort of your systems.
Yeah, thank you very much. When you talk about cybersecurity, every organization has plans to make sure that its systems are secured. Every single organization. Huge institutions all over the world. They put in place measures. They have protocols. They have rules. The thing is, even for the most protected systems, can sometimes be attacked. You can talk about NASA. You can talk about Google. You can talk about Sanyo. You can talk about all these institutions. But you must always learn your lessons and strengthen your systems. And for your information, the ECG as a company has made plans or advanced plans in collaboration with the National Cybersecurity Authority in the celebration of the Cybersecurity Month this October. So we are very serious as a company when it comes to cybersecurity issues.
So your system is very robust. You've mentioned that other systems bigger than yours can be hacked.
No, I'm saying that
it's also as vulnerable, isn't it?
No, I'm saying that when you talk about vulnerability, I mean, we have to be careful in the use of the word vulnerability.
Okay.
Systems are secured, but the unexpected can happen. So I gave you examples of IT installations, such as the NASA and all of these companies.
I heard you right there. We are focusing on ECG. You're saying
and I'm saying that if you talk about cybersecurity issues and all, as a company, we are very serious about that. And we've made advanced plans in the celebration of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Okay. But this particular issue was not as a result of anything cybersecurity. It was just your system that just failed.
That is the information I have on my desk now.
Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Kofi Capito briefly before we wrap up. Mr. Capito, thank you very much for joining us once again. I was asking you earlier, when I thought I had you on the line, about your engagement with ECG and all the stakeholders on what exactly happened. And for consumers, we are only interested in what's in it for us, considering the inconvenience that has been caused. Some people still do not have it, but we are told the system is being restored by this evening or by tomorrow morning. Everything should be back and up and running. What can you tell us as consumers?
You know, I find it very, very interesting that I've seen a publication that, I don't know whether, since you had the ECG guy there, if you can confirm, that they are not going to compensate people who are affected. Look, this is a data. This is technology. If you bring any technology and you don't protect the technology, yes, I agree with them. Cybersecurity and all those theft is a big business in the world now. That's why companies go out of their way to protect their system. From what I've been told, it's not just ECG. The whole Ghana, we are in big trouble because our data protection is not up to date. So, for any ECG person to tell me, the consumer, who since Tuesday hasn't been able to buy power, that they are not going to compensate. I don't expect them to compensate them with money. But
well, that has not been said here on this platform. All we are told about compensation is that there will be an announcement tomorrow as to whether there will be compensation. We are yet to be told. We don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, but then the consumer.
What will you be pushing for? What will you be pushing for?
What I'm saying is somebody's business. That's the way he runs his business. There is a limit that the consumer can pursue. If your technology goes, whack, it's not the issue for the consumer, but the consumer expects you for him to be compensated. As to how they run their business, we have a contract. I'm not going to go into who went into their software and what they didn't do and blah, blah, blah. That is none of the business of the consumer. What the consumer is interested in is, yes, you have deprived me of electricity. What are you doing to make sure that since you did not allow me to get supply of electricity, how much are you going to compensate me? The technology aspect, I'm not a technology person. I'm not a technical person. I'm a consumer advocate.
Okay, so for you, ECG must be working towards compensating us as consumers. Mr. Capito.
Because if they themselves acknowledge that something is wrong with or somebody or some mysterious thing happened to their software, it is entirely their business to fix it. The consumer doesn't care. It's not a consumer who went and attacked their software. It's a software. It's technology. It's being deployed all over the world. The problem, like I said, it's not just ECG. Based on what I know, the whole Ghana, the data is in trouble. So unless we do something serious, and I know that data protection is the number one issue in the world now, especially pertaining to corporations. If you don't protect your data well, some hacker, somebody trying to be mischievous, can get your data in trouble.
Okay. Mr. Capito, we are grateful. That's the Chief Executive of the Consumer Protection Agency there. For him, there should be some form of compensation for consumers. Mr. Aiku, I'll give you the final word as we wrap up. So we look forward to that address tomorrow. In the meantime, you can assure consumers that everything is back up and running.
Yes, thank you very much. We are working very hard to make sure that we get the mobile app also working. And I want to use this opportunity once again to apologize to our customers. We are very sorry about this. And we hope we'll continue to have that good relationship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aiku. We are indeed grateful for your time here tonight on The Probe. And that's it for tonight's edition. Another edition comes your way, same time, Sunday. For our radio audience, A Walk with Jesus is up next. Have a good evening.